Every person who has ever risen above the ordinary, every man or woman whose name has been carried forward by history, has mastered the power of personal initiative. It is this invisible spark that transforms ideas into action and action into achievement. Without initiative, the greatest plans remain nothing more than dreams written in dust. With initiative, even the smallest idea can ignite into a flame strong enough to light the path of destiny. Personal initiative is not simply doing what is asked of you. It is not waiting for permission, nor relying upon favorable circumstances. It is the habit of stepping forward when others hesitate, of creating opportunity where none seems to exist. It is the inner voice that whispers, "Take action now," even when uncertainty surrounds you. Those who obey that voice discover that fortune favors the bold, and that progress bends toward those who move with determination. Let me be clear, initiative is not recklessness. It is not rushing into blind action without thought. Rather, it is the disciplined choice to move ahead when others are content to wait. It is guided by purpose, strengthened by desire, and anchored in sound judgment. A man who hesitates will always find 1,000 excuses. A man of initiative finds one reason, and that reason is enough to begin. You cannot develop personal initiative without first understanding responsibility. Responsibility means taking ownership of your life and refusing to shift the burden of your choices onto others. Those who always wait for orders are slaves, even if they wear fine suits and carry impressive titles. Those who accept the responsibility to act, to decide, and to create those men and women are free. Initiative and freedom are inseparable companions. Consider this. Every great invention, every business empire, every work of art was born because someone dared to act before the world gave them approval. The Wright brothers did not wait for society to encourage them to fly. They built wings out of wood and canvas and defied gravity. Thomas Edison did not wait for the applause of critics before experimenting thousands of times with the light bulb. He took initiative, knowing that each failure was a stepping stone to success. Initiative is the bridge between vision and reality. Ask yourself, how often have you held back an idea because you feared ridicule? How often have you delayed action, waiting for the perfect moment that never arrived? Every hesitation is a thief of opportunity. Every delay is a chain that binds you to mediocrity. The man or woman of initiative cuts through hesitation with a decision and strengthens that decision with immediate action. You must also understand that initiative is not a gift bestowed upon a lucky few. It is a habit that can be cultivated by anyone who chooses to train themselves in its discipline. Like a muscle, it grows stronger with use. Begin with small acts of initiative. Speak up when silence would be easier. Volunteer when others step back. Take responsibility for tasks that others avoid. Each action strengthens the habit, and soon you will find yourself acting naturally with courage where once you hesitated in fear. In a world where so many drift with the current, initiative makes you the captain of your own ship. You no longer wait for the winds of chance. You set your own sails and steer toward your chosen harbor. The timid may call you reckless, but time will prove that initiative, guided by intelligence and faith, is the foundation of leadership and the secret of progress. Personal initiative flourishes in the soil of self-confidence. A timid mind waits for others to act first. A confident mind steps forward even when the path is dim. Confidence is not arrogance. It is the quiet assurance that you possess within you the power to learn, to adapt, and to triumph, regardless of the obstacles you face. When you act with initiative, you are making a declaration to yourself and to the world that you believe in your ability to figure things out. That belief alone is often the turning point between stagnation and progress. Notice that initiative and fear cannot coexist. One must drive out the other. Fear whispers, "What if you fail? What if they laugh? What if you are not ready?" Initiative answers, "I will act, and I will learn, and even if I stumble, the fall itself will teach me." Every act of initiative is a strike against fear. And each victory, no matter how small, builds courage for greater victories yet to come. The man who takes no action lives forever in the prison of fear. The man of initiative breaks the bars with a single decisive move. To develop initiative, you must cultivate the habit of decisive thinking. Indecision is poison to the spirit. It keeps a person circling endlessly, never landing, never committing. When you hesitate, opportunities slip through your fingers like water. But when you decide quickly and act promptly, you seize time by the forelock and bend circumstances to your will. Fortune rewards the man or woman who makes decisions and acts upon them without waiting for a perfect guarantee of success. In truth, such guarantees never exist. The guarantee is created only by action. Initiative is the first law of progress, but it is also the cornerstone of leadership. Men and women who rise to positions of power are not those who followed every instruction blindly. They are those who saw what needed to be done and moved forward, often before others recognized the need. Leadership does not wait for permission. It creates momentum. When you take initiative, you inspire confidence in those around you. They begin to look to you for direction, not because you demanded authority, but because your actions demonstrated it. But let us not confuse initiative with selfish ambition. True initiative is often guided by service. The man who takes action to help others, who seeks solutions to problems larger than himself, becomes indispensable. He is trusted, admired, and followed. Selfish ambition may climb quickly, but it collapses just as fast. Initiative rooted in service grows slowly, but it endures because it is aligned with the laws of life itself. You cannot become truly great unless your initiative benefits more than just your own interests. If you wish to cultivate this power, begin by observing your daily life. How often do you postpone action until circumstances force your hand? How many times do you allow others to make decisions for you? Notice those moments and resolve to act sooner. When an opportunity appears, seize it. When a task is at hand, begin it without delay. Train yourself to act where once you hesitated, and soon initiative will become second nature. Then, when life presents great challenges, you will not tremble or wait for others. You will already be in motion. Remember, initiative is the seed from which achievement grows. Without it, the soil of your life remains barren, no matter how rich your ideas or how fertile your imagination. With it, every seed of thought you plant has the chance to blossom into reality. Take action now. That single habit will distinguish you from the millions who wait, and waiting is the surest path to disappointment. To develop personal initiative, you must first realize that life does not reward those who only wait for instructions. It rewards the ones who take responsibility without being asked. Every employer, every leader, every community longs for people who can see what needs to be done and do it without hesitation. If you are always waiting for someone else to give you the signal, you will forever remain in the ranks of followers. But when you decide to act on your own judgment, to put forth effort before it is demanded, you begin to move toward leadership, toward independence, and toward true personal growth. Initiative requires courage, but it also requires imagination. You must be able to look beyond what is and picture what could be. The man of initiative does not merely fix problems, he anticipates them. He does not only follow plans, he improves them. This power of foresight is born out of the willingness to act. As you cultivate initiative, you will discover opportunities invisible to those who remain passive. The very act of movement clears the fog of indecision and reveals paths hidden from the idle. One of the greatest secrets of initiative is that it multiplies its own strength. The first act is the most difficult, for it requires breaking the inertia of habit and fear. But once you have acted, the second act becomes easier, and the third easier still. Soon, you find yourself in the rhythm of forward motion. Life begins to respond to your energy. Doors open, people take notice, and opportunities seem to align in your favor. What others call luck is often nothing more than the natural consequence of persistent initiative. Yet, let me be clear, initiative must be guided by purpose. To act without direction is merely to waste energy. The bee does not fly aimlessly. It knows exactly where to gather nectar. In the same way, your initiative must be tied to a definite aim, a clear vision of what you want to achieve. Without purpose, you may be active, but ineffective. With purpose, even small actions accumulate into great results. Purpose transforms initiative from a random spark into a blazing fire. Consider how this principle applies to daily life. A worker who completes only what is assigned may keep his job, but he will not rise. The one who takes on additional responsibilities, who solves problems without complaint, who brings ideas instead of excuses, this person becomes indispensable. Employers do not promote titles, they promote initiative. And in private life, the principle is no different. The husband or wife who waits for affection but never gives, it will grow cold. The friend who expects loyalty but never shows it will lose companions. Initiative is the key to growth in every relationship, personal and professional. The habit of initiative also builds resilience, for when you act, you sometimes fail. But in the failure, you learn lessons that no book, no lecture, no advice could ever teach. Each attempt refines your methods, sharpens your judgment, and strengthens your will. Those who act boldly may fall often, but they rise with new knowledge. Those who never act remain unscarred, yes, but also unseasoned, untried, and unprepared for the challenges of life. Initiative is the training ground where courage is tested and character is formed. The greatest tragedy is not in failing after action, but in never acting at all. History remembers the explorers who set sail, the inventors who experimented, the entrepreneurs who risked their fortunes, not those who sat on the sidelines. And in your own life, the same law applies. Years from now, you will not regret the failures nearly as much as you will regret the opportunities you never seized. Initiative ensures that when your time comes to look back, you can say, I tried, I dared, I lived. So begin today. Do not wait for the perfect conditions, they will never come. Do not wait for absolute certainty, it does not exist. Choose a worthy purpose, take the first step, and let initiative carry you forward. Life will meet you halfway, but only if you start moving. The man or woman who acts, even imperfectly, is already leagues ahead of the one who waits endlessly for perfection. Initiative is not a single act performed once in a while. It is a habit, a way of thinking, a constant state of readiness to act when action is needed. A person who develops this habit becomes like a living dynamo, radiating energy and determination. Others may hesitate, others may debate, but the one who has trained himself in initiative is already moving forward. This speed of action is often the deciding factor between success and failure. In business, in relationships, in personal growth, hesitation is costly, but initiative creates momentum. Let us examine why so few people develop this vital trait. The average person has been conditioned from childhood to wait for permission. In school, children raise their hands before they speak. At work, employees are told to follow orders without question. Society rewards obedience more than boldness, and so initiative becomes rare. Yet those who achieve greatness are almost always those who dared to step beyond the line of instruction. They did not wait for approval, they created it. If you would rise above the ordinary, you must retrain your mind to value initiative as highly as obedience, if not higher. Another barrier to initiative is fear. Fear of criticism, fear of failure, fear of responsibility. Many people would rather remain unnoticed than risk the exposure that comes with bold action. But here is the truth. Criticism will come whether you act or not. Failure will visit whether you try or not. Responsibility will follow you whether you accept it or not. Since you cannot escape these things, why not face them head on? When you act, you control the terms of engagement. When you hesitate, life forces terms upon you. Initiative puts you in the driver's seat of destiny. To strengthen initiative, practice small acts daily. Do not wait until a crisis demands leadership. Start by taking responsibility in the ordinary. If a task is left undone, finish it without being asked. If a problem arises, look for solutions instead of waiting for someone else to fix it. Each small victory over hesitation builds confidence, and confidence feeds initiative. Like a muscle, it grows stronger through repeated use. Soon, you will find yourself acting boldly in larger matters, and others will look to you for leadership. But initiative is not recklessness. It is not running blindly into every situation without thought. True initiative is balanced by judgment. It is the ability to act quickly, yes, but also wisely. A reckless man may leap before he looks, but a man of initiative looks quickly, then leaps with certainty. This balance of courage and wisdom is what makes initiative so powerful. It is not mere energy, it is directed energy. It is not just action, it is intelligent action. One of the most valuable results of initiative is independence. The person who waits for orders is always dependent on others for direction. The one who acts from within himself is free. He does not need constant supervision. He does not need to be pushed or prodded. He becomes his own master. Employers recognize this instantly, for they know that one man of initiative is worth 10 who must be driven. And in your personal life, independence gives dignity and self-respect. You no longer beg for opportunities, you create them. Remember, every great achievement in history has been the result of initiative. No invention, no discovery, no progress in society ever came from those who only followed instructions. The pioneers, the builders, the creators were all men and women who saw beyond what was given and acted upon what was possible. You stand among them when you develop initiative in your own life. You may not cross oceans or invent machines, but in your own sphere you can lead, build, and create with the same spirit. Therefore, I urge you, do not wait for tomorrow, do not wait for someone else, and do not wait for perfect conditions. Begin where you are, with what you have, and act. Initiative is the seed of progress, and if you plant it faithfully in the soil of purpose, it will yield a harvest greater than you can imagine. There is a curious law of life that rewards those who act with initiative. It seems as though unseen hands move in your favor when you dare to move first. Opportunities reveal themselves. Resources appear. Allies step forward, but only after you have acted. Many people wait for conditions to be perfect, believing that once everything is in place, then they will begin. Yet perfection never arrives, and so they wait endlessly. The man of initiative understands that perfection is not a starting point, it is the result of starting. He acts in faith, and the universe meets him halfway. Personal initiative must also be tied to purpose. To act merely for the sake of activity is wasteful, but to act with clear direction is powerful. Initiative without purpose is like a ship without a compass. It may move swiftly, but it drifts aimlessly. Initiative with purpose is a guided missile. It strikes its target with force. Therefore, before you launch into action, be sure that your mind is fixed upon a definite aim. Then let your initiative carry you steadily toward it, adjusting your course as needed but never ceasing to move. One of the greatest advantages of initiative is that it creates leaders. A leader is not always the person with the title, the office, or the authority. A true leader is the one who acts when action is required. In every group, whether in business, in community, or in family, the one who develops initiative naturally rises to leadership. Others look to him or her for direction because human beings crave guidance in uncertain times. When you step forward with confidence, people will follow, even if you have no official power. This is the silent election that society holds every day, and initiative is the winning ballot. But leadership born of initiative also carries responsibility. When you move first, when you act without waiting, you assume the weight of consequences. Some will praise you, others will criticize, but both will hold you accountable. This is why many avoid initiative, it exposes them. Yet exposure is the very condition of growth. No seed can sprout while hidden in the dark earth. It must break through, reach toward the light, and endure the elements if it is to become a tree. So too must you endure the scrutiny and responsibility that comes with initiative if you would grow into your full potential. Another important element of initiative is persistence. Acting once is not enough. The world does not yield its treasures to the timid explorer who takes a single step and then retreats. Initiative must be sustained. It must be applied again and again, until obstacles are worn down, until resistance gives way, until the goal is reached. The man who acts once may be remembered for a day. The man who acts persistently with initiative is remembered for a lifetime. History honors not those who tried once, but those who kept trying until the world could no longer resist them. In developing initiative, beware of the twin enemies, procrastination and excuse-making. Procrastination whispers, "Not today, maybe tomorrow," while excuses shout, "It cannot be done, it is too difficult." Both are thieves that steal your future. Initiative defeats them both by acting in spite of delay and in spite of doubt. When you feel the tug of hesitation, act immediately, even if only in a small way. This one habit alone will transform your life, for it builds momentum, and momentum is the ally of initiative. Finally, remember that initiative is contagious. Your boldness will inspire others to be bold. Your action will spark action in those around you. A single match can light 1,000 candles without diminishing its flame. So too can your initiative ignite a spirit of courage and enterprise in your community, your workplace, and your family. And when enough individuals act with initiative, entire nations are lifted to higher levels of achievement. Never underestimate the ripple effect of one decisive act. Personal initiative thrives best when coupled with imagination. To act first requires that you see possibilities where others see none. The timid wait for proof, for guarantees, for signs that success is certain. The man of initiative looks ahead, envisions a better condition, and dares to move toward it. Imagination paints the picture. Initiative gives it life. Together, they create progress. Every invention, every business, every reform began as a thought in someone's mind, followed by the courage to act before the world was ready. It is also vital to recognize that initiative is not reckless impulse. Some mistake rashness for initiative, but the two are not the same. Rashness acts without thought, driven by emotion or impatience. True initiative acts with reason, guided by purpose and strengthened by courage. One builds, the other destroys. The wise man develops initiative as a disciplined force, not as a wild reaction. Think first, but not too long, then act with all your energy. Another truth about initiative is that it sharpens your mind. Every time you move without waiting to be told, you train yourself to observe, to anticipate, to solve. Instead of drifting passively, you become alert and resourceful. Initiative compels you to notice opportunities that others overlook. You become more inventive, more adaptable, more resilient. It is no exaggeration to say that initiative multiplies intelligence because it keeps the mind in constant constructive motion. Remember, too, that initiative attracts opportunity. People of influence seek out those who can act without constant supervision. Employers promote them, partners trust them, investors fund them. Life itself seems to deliver more chances into the hands of the proactive. This is not mere coincidence, it is a natural law. Just as water flows to the riverbed carved deepest, opportunity flows toward those who carve channels of action through initiative. By taking the first step again and again, you shape a current that draws success to you. There is also a moral dimension to initiative. To stand idle while a solution is needed is to deny your responsibility as a human being. Society advances because individuals act, not because they wait. If injustice exists, someone must challenge it. If improvements are possible, someone must attempt them. To develop initiative, therefore, is to honor your duty to yourself and to the world. It is to say, I will not be a bystander in life. I will be a participant, a contributor, a creator. Yet, you must guard against the temptation to misuse initiative for selfish gain alone. True initiative benefits not only the individual, but also others. It is a higher form of action, rooted in service as well as ambition. When you act to improve your own condition while also lifting those around you, your initiative takes on a noble power. It earns respect, builds goodwill, and creates legacies that endure. Selfish initiative burns brightly but briefly. Generous initiative lights the way for generations. To cultivate initiative, practice beginning tasks at once. Do not postpone small duties, for every delay builds the habit of waiting. Start with simple matters. Answer the letter today, make the call now, complete the errand promptly. These small acts of initiative strengthen the muscle of decisive action. When greater challenges arise, you will already be conditioned to move forward instead of hesitating. As the saying goes, he who hesitates is lost. Better to stumble while acting than to wither while waiting. One of the greatest obstacles to initiative is the fear of criticism. Many men and women hold back, not because they lack ideas, not because they lack ability, but because they dread what others will say if they step forward. They wait for approval before acting, forgetting that the world seldom approves of anything new until success has proved it. If you wish to develop initiative, you must learn to stand firm against ridicule, against doubt, and against the disapproval of timid souls. History remembers the pioneers, not the cautious imitators. Think of every man who ever changed the world. He was told again and again that his ideas would not work. The Wright brothers were mocked as fools who thought they could fly. Edison was dismissed as a dreamer with too many failures to his name. Henry Ford was ridiculed for believing the common man could afford a motor car, but each of them acted with initiative in spite of criticism. They refused to wait for public approval. And because they acted, the world was forced to approve after the results were undeniable. The lesson here is clear. If you allow the fear of criticism to paralyze you, you will rob yourself of your birthright of achievement. Initiative demands courage, not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. The man of initiative says, "I may be doubted now, but time will prove me right." He draws strength not from the applause of others, but from his inner conviction. That conviction is built upon definite purpose, clear thinking, and a willingness to persist until success silences every critic. Another barrier to initiative is the habit of procrastination. Procrastination is the thief of opportunity. It whispers, "Wait until tomorrow, conditions will be better, the risk will be smaller." But tomorrow never comes in the way procrastination promises. While you wait, chances slip away, competitors move ahead, and the energy of the moment fades. The man of initiative learns to act at once. He knows that no plan is ever perfect, no time is ever ideal. Progress belongs to those who begin now and adjust along the way. There is also the danger of overdependence on others. Too many people believe they must have constant direction, constant approval, constant guidance. They lean so heavily upon superiors, upon teachers, upon leaders, that they never learn to stand alone. But initiative means self-reliance. It means you are willing to take responsibility for decisions, even if they prove imperfect. Remember, every leader was once an ordinary man who dared to decide for himself. Initiative is the training ground of leadership. If you wish to test your level of initiative, ask yourself, when faced with a problem, do I immediately seek someone to tell me what to do? Or do I begin thinking of solutions myself? When given a task, do I wait for instructions at every step, or do I take intelligent action without constant direction? When I see a need, do I ignore it until commanded, or do I act as though the responsibility were mine? The honest answers to these questions will reveal how much initiative you possess and how much you must yet develop. Finally, remember this truth. Initiative grows stronger with every use. Each time you take action without waiting, you reinforce the habit. Each time you overcome hesitation, the next hesitation is weaker. Each time you act with courage, you prepare yourself for greater responsibilities. Initiative is like a flame, it must be fed, or it will die out. Feed it daily with action, with decision, with courage. Let no day pass without some demonstration of your initiative. Over time, it will become part of your character, as natural as breathing, as constant as the beating of your heart. Personal initiative is more than a tool for success. It is a mark of character. The world rewards those who act, but it respects those whose actions are guided by integrity. Initiative without honesty can build only temporary advantage. Initiative with integrity builds permanent power. When you act with initiative, you must also act with fairness, with respect for others, and with a clear conscience. For a man who gains the world but loses his honor has built on sand, and his fall is only a matter of time. Many people believe that initiative means forcing one's will upon others. That is not so. True initiative is not domination, it is contribution. It is the willingness to step forward, not to trample, but to serve. The man of initiative asks, what can I create? What can I improve? What can I contribute to this family, this organization, this community? That spirit of service transforms initiative from a selfish impulse into a noble force. When others see that your initiative lifts not only yourself, but them as well, you will never lack for allies, for opportunity, or for trust. Let us not forget that initiative must be coupled with persistence. A single burst of effort is not enough. The world is filled with people who begin boldly and then falter. They start enterprises, projects, or goals with great enthusiasm, but at the first obstacle they retreat. Initiative is tested not at the beginning, but in the continuation. The true mark of initiative is that it endures. The man who begins with courage and continues with determination will achieve what others abandon. Initiative must not only spark the fire, it must keep it burning until the work is done. One of the finest ways to develop initiative is to practice anticipating needs before they are spoken. In business, in personal life, in leadership, those who foresee what must be done before they are asked to do it rise above the ordinary. Do not wait for orders when your intelligence shows you the next step. Do not wait for someone else to point out a problem when your eyes can see it clearly. To act in advance is to prove yourself valuable, dependable, and indispensable. That is the kind of initiative employers reward, leaders respect, and the world remembers. But initiative also demands humility. It is not arrogance. It is not reckless impulse. To act with initiative does not mean you refuse counsel or wisdom from others. On the contrary, the man of initiative seeks knowledge, listens carefully, and then acts decisively. He is not stubborn, but he is not timid. He respects advice, but does not become dependent upon it. He accepts correction, but does not wait for constant direction. Humility keeps initiative balanced, prevents it from becoming blind pride, and ensures that action is guided by intelligence rather than impulse. Above all, remember that initiative is a habit, and habits are formed by repetition. Every day you are either training yourself to act or to wait, to decide or to hesitate, to lead or to follow. The choice is made in small things. The decision to speak when silence is easy, the decision to try when quitting would be comfortable, the decision to step forward when others hang back. Those small decisions form a pattern, and that pattern becomes character. The man of initiative does not wait for life to command him, he commands himself, and by doing so, he commands his future. Personal initiative is not only a tool for advancement, it is also the cure for fear. Fear thrives in inactivity. When the mind hesitates, when the body stalls, when the will remains idle, fear grows stronger. But when you act, when you take the first step, fear loses its hold. A man who allows fear to govern him becomes paralyzed, waiting for circumstances to change. The man of initiative, however, acts in spite of fear and thus conquers it. Fear cannot survive in the presence of decisive action. This truth explains why the great leaders of history were never free of fear, but they were masters over it. They did not wait for courage to arrive, they moved, and courage followed. You too can master your doubts, not by endless reasoning, but by daring to act. Initiative is the medicine that quiets fear and strengthens faith. Each time you move forward, even in uncertainty, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than hesitation. Let us also understand that initiative sharpens opportunity. Many people say, if I had the right chance, I would succeed. But opportunity does not wait at your doorstep with an invitation. It appears on the road after you have already begun walking. The man who takes initiative discovers possibilities that the idle never see. He meets people, encounters ideas, and notices openings precisely because he is in motion. Initiative places you where fortune can find you. In every age, the men who built empires, industries, and legacies were men of initiative. They did not inherit perfect conditions, they created them. They acted when others debated. They risked when others doubted. They persisted when others quit. And in the end, the world rewarded them, not because luck favored them, but because initiative moved them. If you wish to join their company, you must adopt the same habit. You may ask, what if my initiative leads me to failure? I tell you, then you have still won, for failure is only temporary, but inaction is permanent defeat. Failure teaches, it sharpens judgment, it strengthens character. But inaction teaches nothing, it leaves you weaker than before. Better to act and fail than to remain motionless and regret. Every defeat faced with initiative carries the seed of a greater victory. Therefore, let initiative be your constant companion. Let it guide your thoughts into decisions, your decisions into actions, and your actions into results. Do not wait for the perfect time, it will never come. Do not wait for full confidence, it will not arrive until you begin. Start where you are, with what you have, and move forward. The road will reveal itself as you walk it. The river will open as you cross. And the habit of personal initiative will ensure that you never remain the same. You will always be advancing, always creating, always becoming more than you were yesterday. Personal initiative is more than a habit. It is the very spirit of progress. It is the invisible force that pushes a man beyond the ordinary, that makes him a leader in his field, that grants him influence among men. Without initiative, desire remains only a dream, plans remain only paper, and knowledge remains only potential. Initiative breathes life into all of these. It is the bridge between thought and reality, between vision and achievement. I tell you with absolute conviction, you cannot rise to success without developing this quality. You may possess talent, but without initiative, it will sleep within you. You may hold wisdom, but without initiative, it will rust unused. You may even receive opportunities, but without initiative, you will watch them slip away. Success bows only to the man who acts. Think of this truth as a command written by nature herself. Act, and you shall grow. Wait, and you shall decay. All progress, whether for an individual or for civilization, has come because someone dared to move. Someone refused to sit in silence. Someone refused to wait for permission. They took initiative, and history remembers them. And so I urge you, make initiative a permanent trait of your character. Train it daily. Begin with small actions. Finish what you start. Speak your ideas. Step forward where others hesitate. Then advance to larger tasks. Launch your project. Take responsibility. Seize opportunities without waiting for them to be perfect. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Initiative, once a habit, will carry you to heights you never imagined. Do not fear mistakes. Do not wait for applause. Do not beg for security. The world rewards boldness, and it punishes delay. When you act, you attract allies, ideas, and chances that the passive never encounter. When you lead yourself, you become capable of leading others. And when you embrace initiative, you create momentum so strong that even obstacles become stepping stones. Remember always, success is not a matter of chance, it is a matter of choice. And the first choice is to act. Personal initiative is the foundation upon which all wealth, power, and achievement rest. If you cultivate it, nothing can hold you back. If you neglect it, nothing else will save you. So let your watchword from this day forward be, I will act. I will take responsibility. I will move without waiting. Speak it, live it, repeat it, until it is part of your nature. Then you will discover that initiative does not merely change what you do, it changes who you are. You become the architect of your destiny, the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, and there is no higher victory than that.